Welcome to Dobby's Repairs. I'm Dobby the Fixing Elf, and this is what's in my toolbox, the series where I show you the tools I use to repair cars and fix things. So let's find out what's in my toolbox today. And in this instalment, we have these US.Pro files. So we have a set of 5 different files, and the item number for this set is 7562, and we have, like I said, a set of 5, so we have a half round, a flat file, a triangle file, a round file. I always thought these were called rat tail files, but I could be wrong. But very good little file. And then a square file, which I've used the most out of these so far. It's pretty handy for cleaning up brake calipers. It's not too fierce. They are only 50 HRC or Rockwell rating, so they're not the sharpest and they will dull fairly quickly. But for cleaning, like, I'll probably still a bit on here, brake dust and stuff off caliper brackets, really handy for that. They come with these nice comfort grip handles, so they're fairly comfortable, and they do seem fairly secure in there, which is quite good. And I do like the handles. And yeah, so that's a square one. As you can see, it's square. The round one's obviously round, triangle one's obviously triangle, the flat is flat, and the half round is sort of half round. They do work fairly well on most sorts of metals that I've tried them on. Like I said, I've used the square one a lot on brake calipers brackets to clear, especially if you've got really stubborn build up of brake dust. You can, especially if you've been going a long time, you really clean out the corners and get right into the corner of the actual brake caliper. I don't know why it's so difficult for me to say today. But yeah, you can get a nice good clean finish. So if you're putting a new hardware or if you just want to put new pads in, it gives you a nice smooth surface for your brake pads to slide on. Obviously don't go too crazy. The triangle one, again, very good for squaring things up. They're all pretty good. They all seem to have a fairly decent, they're all really good in the hand. They're all the same handle. I like the little hole in it so you can hang them up if you need to. And yeah, they do bite in fairly well. It's quite nice. This is quite a hard piece of metal. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's fairly hard. And yeah, flat one is really useful again for clearing things out and generally just taking off edges and deburring stuff. I find the round file pretty good for getting into like through holes. So if you have like a through hole that's sort of just generally rusted, you can get this in there and just work your way around and clear out the hole, which is pretty good. Obviously without going too crazy, you don't want to take off too much material, but just clear off rust and loose debris, really handy for that. And yeah, generally just cleaning up little bits. They're pretty good at cleaning up plastic as well as metal. I've mainly used them on metal though. They really work okay on plastic. Obviously do gunk up a bit quicker on plastic. And this is the second set of these I've had. The other set eventually wore out. Let's try to see if I can find something. Here's just a bit of mild steel. It's not particularly strong. It's actually going to be part of a welding project that is coming. I haven't got around to doing it just yet. And yeah. Yeah, so it's a fairly decent bite there from the flat file. And great for deburring edges, especially if you've got sharp, rugged edges that are snagging and stuff. And yeah, I found these really handy for just generally cleaning up edges and getting stuff back square if they've worn out of shape. And you get them into some decent space. They are fairly long as well. They're 200 mils or 8 inches, which is just about the length of my little mat here, as you can see. And they have been fairly robust and used. This particular set, this is a newer set. The other set, like I said, wore out after a little while. I did find the other set, like I said earlier, but I did start to go blunt and get clogged up. And if they do get clogged up, you can clean them a bit with a wire brush, just give them good in the direction of the teeth, just brush them down. It does seem to help and clear out some of the debris. Some of it does get stuck in there though. And yeah, they're pretty robust little files. Again, I know they're not the hardest, but they definitely seem to stand up to most of the things I've used them for, which is always quite nice. So I just thought I'd show you a quick bit of sort of thing I use these for. So looking at the triangle one, there it is. And I just sort of use them to clean out threads like this. All the crud out the threads. We'll just do another couple. Obviously without going too aggressive, but you can see clear up threads like this. Obviously I'm not going to be using this bolt, but I just thought I'd show you sort of thing you can do with them. Obviously you have to use the right sort of threads, and that should clean up the worst of that, so we can go all the way down to the next jamming point. Take that off quickly, yeah, and you can see it works fairly well for that. Where did it jam? Just about that. Yeah, you just clean up thread with it like this, or clean up dirty in a sort of mill. That's why I mainly look at just clearing rust out of things and just really making things look a lot prettier, which is pretty good. And before I move on to my final thoughts on this lovely set, I'll just show you next week's tool. So this is what we're going to be reviewing next week, the Top Scan little dongle scanner. Really handy piece of kit, and that'll be the 150th What's in My Toolbox. So it's going to be quite a special video, so keep an eye out for that next week. Or at least at the time we release this video. And yeah, so now moving on to my final thoughts on this lovely little set. I found it really handy, really useful. As I said, I've bought 2 of these, and this is the second set I've had. And I find them really good for cleaning stuff up, as I've mentioned multiple times in this video. You're probably a bit bored of me saying it now. But yeah, overall, a really good little set of files. I wish they were a bit harder, so they didn't have to replace so often. And they could do a file on slightly harder metals. But for most of the metals I file or bits I clean up, they're quite good because they don't actually damage the main metal, just the rust and stuff like that. So I'm going to give them a 3 spanner rating. So 3 spanners will pop up here as always, and there should be somewhere around here. And yeah, overall, a really handy little set of files. The handles are really nice and really comfortable. I know some of the files can have little thin handles, so that's not very nice. But I think these are really nice for getting a good purchase on, especially with my quite big hands really. And a huge shout out to my Fixing Club members, Mako and Rodney. Your support helps me make videos like this and many more. Thank you very much for your support. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps both the channel and me out. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I post 2 videos a week, so by subscribing, you'll never miss a thing. Got any questions or suggestions? Drop a comment down below, and I'll do my best to reply to everyone. Here at Dobby Repairs, we're all about helping you learn how to work on your vehicle safely and showing you don't need to spend a fortune on tools to get the job done. Want to support the channel further? Become a member, starting at just 99p. Members get perks like early access to videos and more exclusive content. Keep fixing, and I'll see you in the next one.